Like an old-time saying, some decisions don't shout. They sit quietly in your head and on your table, waiting for a signature. Today, we return to Chike's story, the day the deal stopped being an idea and became something he could touch, read, and almost smell. This is the deal on the table. Listen with your heart, but make out time to listen to the previous episode before you continue with this. The morning came slowly for Chike. He hadn't really slept. He just lay on his bed, drifting in and out of shallow dreams, the same images repeating. Honorable Odu's smile, the brown envelope, the documents, Amara's eyes, full of hope and worry at the same time. When his alarm finally rang, he stared at the ceiling for a long moment before turning it off. The fan above him was still. Power had gone again in the middle of the night. The room was already getting hot. He sat up, rubbed his face, and looked at the brown envelope on his table. The promotion letter peeked out, like it was also watching him. He got dressed slowly. Shirt, trouser, belt, tie. Same routine, different weight. He picked up his bag, hesitated, then slid the promotion letter back into the envelope and placed it inside the inner pocket. It felt like walking around with a stone on his chest. The street outside was waking up. Women fried akara by small fires. Children chased each other barefoot, dodging potholes and puddles. Someone pushed a wheelbarrow full of sachet water, shouting, "Pure water, 50 naira, cold one!" Chike joined the flow of people heading towards bus stops, markets, and offices. The bus ride to work felt longer than usual. He hardly heard the conductor. He barely saw the road. His mind replayed Amara's words. Is integrity a luxury only rich people can afford? The question sat at the back of his head like a stubborn passenger. By the time he got to the secretariat, his stomach was tight. He walked into the compound. Staff were streaming in from all directions. A few political posters had fallen overnight and were now being stepped on by shoes that didn't care who was on them. Inside, the building buzzed with its usual half-serious energy. Some people were working, some were pretending to. Some were just waiting for closing time to come. And it was not even 9 a.m. yet. Chike went to his office, greeted his colleagues, and sat down at his desk. There, waiting quietly like a patient enemy, were the project files Honorable had given him yesterday. Neatly piled, stamped, official. He stared at them for a long time. He reached out and pulled the first file towards him. Rural Health Center Renovation, Phase 2. He opened it. There were pictures inside. Pictures of an old building with cracked walls and a broken roof. A faded signboard. Grass growing where sick people should have been lying on beds. He saw the budget figures. He saw his own name typed neatly on the page as Verification Officer. His hand lingered on that line. He turned the page. There were more words, more numbers. It was amazing, he thought, how human suffering could be reduced to neat tables and lines like this. He leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes for a moment. If he signed, the building would get some work, not all. A little paint, some patching. Enough to take pictures, enough for the news. If he didn't sign, someone else might sign, or the file might disappear, or the project might be abandoned completely. Was his refusal really going to save anybody? A small voice in his heart whispered, "Even if the world is dirty, must you dip your own hands in mud?" He pushed the file away, frustrated, and dragged his hand across his face. Bala's voice broke through his thoughts. "My senior man!" Bala said, dropping a plastic bag of food on his own table. "You no go chop?" Chike looked up. He hadn't even realized it was almost lunchtime. "I'm not hungry," he replied. "Not hungry, Kay? Promotion and you're not hungry? Oh boy, this thing has entered your head, oh." Bala laughed. Then he lowered his voice and moved closer. "How far now? I heard you went to see Honorable yesterday. They say your name is on some big documents." Chike felt his muscles tighten. "Who told you that?" he asked quietly. Bala shrugged. "My brother, this building has ears and eyes. Nothing hides here." He sat on the edge of Chike's desk. "Look," Bala said softly. "Let me not lie to you. If they trust you with that kind of thing, it means they see you. They want to carry you along. Don't dull yourself. You see all these old men driving big cars? No, small, small they start. Chike looked at him. And the people the money is meant for? He asked. The villagers, the sick, the poor? Who carries them along? Bala sighed and stood up straight. My brother, if you start thinking like that, you will have blood pressure before 40. If you don't sign, someone else will sign. The system will not collapse because of your conscience. He picked up his spoon and opened his food. The smell of hot jollof rice filled the office. All I know is this, Bala continued between bites. This country doesn't reward clean hands, so if you want to keep yours clean, just prepare to suffer, that's all. He walked back to his desk, whistling. Chike stared at the files again. Was Bala wrong? Or was he just telling the sad truth? A few hours later, the secretary from Honorable's office walked in. Mr. Chike, she said politely, standing at the door. His Excellency wants to see you. Chike's heart jolted. He nodded, stood up, and followed her. The corridor to Honorable's office felt even longer today. When he walked in, Honorable didn't smile this time. He was on the phone, his face tight, voice low and sharp. Yes, I understand, he was saying. But tell them the funds will be ready. We are handling it. Don't let that man start misbehaving now. We need him on our side. I will get back to you. He dropped the phone with a sigh, looked up, and saw Chike. Ah, my boy. Sit. Chike sat down, his heart already drumming against his ribs. Honorable leaned back and studied him. So, he began. Have you gone through the documents? Chike swallowed. Yes, sir, I've started reviewing them. Honorable raised one eyebrow. Started? Yes, sir. I'm still going through the details. Honorable chuckled, but there was no joy in it. My friend, he said, you are not auditing the World Bank. You are verifying paperwork. We do not have time. Campaign is moving. People are waiting. Our opponents are not sleeping. He leaned forward. Let me tell you something, he said calmly. In politics, delay is more dangerous than opposition. Opposition you can see. Delay is like poison in slow motion. Chike cleared his throat. Sir, I just want to be sure everything is clear. The funds, the redistribution. Honorable waved his hand. Chike, I like you. That's why I'm wasting words on you, he said bluntly. Do you think you are the first man to sign such documents in this office? Or the last? You think those boreholes you see on television were built with 100% of the money written on paper? He chuckled again. You are in government, but you are still thinking like a citizen outside the gate. Chike felt small. I'm not trying to be difficult, sir, he said. I think of the health centers, the villages, the people. Honorable's expression hardened. The people? He repeated slowly. My friend, if the party does not remain in power, who will even sign the next set of projects? Who will approve anything for anybody? The people you are thinking about will suffer more if we lose. Sometimes, to save many, you must make small sacrifices. He slid a pen towards Chike. Sign the documents, he said quietly. Let's move forward. Show that you are with us. Promotion is just the beginning. There are bigger things ahead if you prove yourself. Committee positions, travel, contracts. The words travel and contracts floated in the air like perfume. Chike looked at the pen. It was a simple black pen, but in that moment, it felt like a knife. Honorable studied his hesitation. He spoke slowly now, voice low. Chike, he said, you are not just any staff. I see you as my son. If you become stubborn now, I cannot protect you later. And I will not fight for someone who doesn't want to be part of the team. I'll ask you one last time. Are you with us, or are you not? The room felt smaller. The walls seemed closer, the air thicker. Chike could hear his own breathing. Something inside him said, Sign it and rest. You're not the first. You won't be the last. Another part whispered, This is the moment. This is where you decide what kind of man you are. He blinked. His voice came out low but steady. Sir, he said, I need just a little more time. Honorable stared at him for a long, silent moment. The tension stretched. Then he laughed suddenly. A short, cold laugh. 1 week, he repeated. I gave you 1 week. Now you want more time? For what? To ask God? To do family meeting? He shook his head. Young man, he said, this is politics, not Sunday school. 1 week is more than enough. Today is day 2. Time is moving. Don't let it move without you. He picked up the pen and placed it directly into Chike's hand. Go, he said. Think. But remember something. Some doors only open once. Chike walked out of the office, feeling like his legs didn't belong to him. Back at his desk, he sat down and stared at his hand. The pen was still there. He placed it gently on the table, as if it might explode. He opened the second file. Women's Cooperative Empowerment, Rural Scheme. Inside, he saw pictures of women standing in front of small stalls, holding placards that read, "We need help." He saw figures for startup grants, training programs, small loans. On another page, he saw where the adjustment had been planned. 60% of the funds rerouted. He leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. What did adjustment mean in real life? It meant one less sewing machine in a village, one less grinding mill, one less woman able to send her child to school. It meant one more politician's convoy, one more campaign rally, one more house in the city with marble tiles and empty rooms. A message notification pulled him back. His phone vibrated. It was Amara. He hesitated, then opened it. Hey, love, just checking on you. How's your day going? Have you heard anything more about the promotion? I've been smiling since yesterday. I really believe this is our turning point. He stared at the words. Our turning point. His chest tightened. He didn't reply immediately. He dropped the phone and buried his face in his hands. God, he muttered. Why is it that every time someone like me is about to move forward, the road is always crooked? The afternoon moved slowly. At some point, he forced himself to eat a little food, just so his head wouldn't start aching. People around him laughed, complained about salaries, gossiped about politicians. For them, it was just another day. For him, it felt like a test he hadn't studied for. Near closing time, a junior staff walked into the office shyly. Nam, she said softly. Good evening. It was Ngozi. Good evening, Chike replied. How are you? I'm fine, sir, she said, clutching a file to her chest. Please, I need your signature on this document before I can take it upstairs. It's urgent. He took the file and scanned it quickly. It was a small request form for stationery and printing materials for a rural outreach program. Nothing huge, just paper, ink, little things. He signed easily and handed it back. As she took it, she hesitated. Sir, she said, please, is it true what they're saying? That you're now in charge of those big health and women's project files? Chike blinked. Who told you that? He asked. She smiled shyly. You know this building, even the walls talk. She paused, then added quietly. One of those women's programs. My village is on the list. His heart skipped. Your village? He repeated. Yes, sir. She nodded. My Ashin is part of the group. They have been waiting for this help for more than 2 years. They keep asking me, Ngozi, you work inside. When will this thing reach us? I keep telling them, soon. They are working on it. She smiled, but there was tiredness in her eyes. I just hope, sir, she said gently, that this time they will not cancel it. Some of the women have already borrowed money because they believe this program will come. She clutched the small file to her chest again. Thank you for signing this one. God bless you, sir. She walked away. Chike watched her go. In that moment, the file on his table turned from projects into faces. Not just numbers. Not just papers. People. Women like Ngozi's aunt. Villagers whose only connection was the quiet junior staff sending small money home every month. He felt something shift inside him. He realized something. If he signed, he wasn't just following system. He was directly choosing who loses in Ngozi's village, or his own struggle. Closing time finally came. People packed their bags, chairs scraped, laughter rose, phones rang. Chike didn't move. He remained at his desk, staring at the documents, then at the pen, then at the documents again. The office slowly emptied. Eventually, he was almost alone. He reached into his pocket and brought out the promotion letter. He placed it beside the project files. There it was. His future. And other people's future. Sitting side by side on one old wooden desk. He picked up the pen. His hand trembled. He brought it closer to the paper, so close that the tip nearly touched his name. He stayed like that for a long time, breathing, thinking, fighting. Finally, he dropped the pen. It rolled slightly and stopped. He exhaled shakily. Not yet. He couldn't. He carefully gathered the documents, placed them back into their file jacket, and locked them in his drawer. Then he picked up his bag and walked out of the office, his head heavy, but his hands empty. Outside, the sky was turning orange. The compound looked different under the evening light. As he walked towards the gate, his phone rang. He checked the screen. It was an unknown number. "Hello?" he answered. A deep voice replied. "Good evening. Am I speaking with Mr. Chike?" "Yes," he said cautiously. "Who is this?" "This is from the party office," the voice said. "We just wanted to appreciate your support. We heard you've been brought into some important project processes. You're now part of the inner circle. We're looking forward to your cooperation, sir." Chike felt a cold wave rush through his body. Before he could respond, the caller continued. "There will be a small strategy meeting this weekend at the local party house. Honorable specifically mentioned your name. We would like you to be there. This is how big men start, sir." The voice chuckled. "We'll send you the details. Congratulations once again. Your future is bright." The line cut. Chike lowered the phone slowly. He hadn't signed anything. He hadn't agreed to anything. But already, they had carried his name and placed it at a table he hadn't sat at yet. He felt trapped, caught in a net that had been quietly thrown over him. That evening, Amara called. "Hey, love," she said, her voice soft but hopeful. "How are you? You sound tired." "I'm fine," he lied. "Have you done the signing and whatever they need?" she asked carefully. "Is everything settled now?" He hesitated. "Not yet," he replied. "I'm still thinking." There was a pause. "Thinking," she repeated quietly. "Chike, we don't have forever to be thinking." "I know," he said. Silence. "I had a customer at the bank today," she said suddenly. "He came in with a large deposit, big money. He was laughing with my manager, talking loudly about contracts in election season. Later, my manager told me he's a political consultant, one of those people who eat during election time. He could hear the tired smile in her voice. I was standing there, looking at the man, his car keys, his expensive phone, she continued, and I just thought, someone somewhere signed something for this man to be eating like this, and people like us. We're just watching." Chike closed his eyes. "Are you saying I should sign?" he asked quietly. She sighed. "I'm saying I am tired," she replied. "I'm tired of standing in between, tired of defending you at home, tired of explaining to people that you are different. Sometimes I want to shout at this country." She paused, then added softly, "But I also don't want to lose you. I don't want to look at you one day and see a stranger who sold everything that made me love him." Her voice broke a little. "I don't know the right answer," she whispered. "All I know is, whatever you choose, it will change us." His throat felt tight. "I wish life was simpler," he said. "Me too," she replied. They stayed on the line, not really speaking, just breathing together. Sometimes in love, that is all you can do. That night, sleep refused to come again. He lay on his bed, turning from side to side, while sounds from the street drifted in. Distant music, voices, a baby crying, someone shouting at a generator that refused to start. He stood up and went to his small table. He took out the promotion letter and read it again. "You are hereby promoted." He turned the paper around, as if there might be fine print at the back. Nothing, just the front. Black ink, white paper, hidden conditions. He looked at the cardboard on his wall. Chike consults and prints. A crazy thought crossed his mind. What if, Instead of waiting for government legs to carry him, he used his own hands to build something slowly, even if it meant suffering longer. Was that foolish? Was that wisdom? He didn't know. He sat down and picked up a rough notebook. He began to scribble numbers. If I save this much per month, if I get 1 or 2 side jobs in graphic design, if I stay in this room for another year, if Amara can be patient. The numbers didn't look encouraging. But they also weren't impossible. He dropped the pen and rubbed his face. God, he whispered again. Please, show me if this suffering will lead somewhere, or if I'm just punishing myself for nothing. He didn't get an answer, but as he sat there, a new feeling joined the fear. Anger. Not wild anger. Not anger at one person. A deep, quiet anger at a system that made good people feel stupid and bad decisions look reasonable. He clenched his jaw. This is not normal, he said to himself. It's not normal that to rise, I must help others fall. He took a deep breath and stood up. Tomorrow would be day 3. There were still 5 days left in the 1-week window. 5 days to decide whether he would be another name on the list of those who joined, or one of the few who walked away. And so, day 2 ended, not with a clear answer, but with the deal fully on the table. The party had called his name. The documents had his signature line printed and waiting. His boss had pressed him. His girlfriend had cried in between her courage and her fear. A junior staff had unknowingly shown him the real faces behind the figures. Now he knew. Signing was not just a formality. It was a choice. A choice between comfort today, at the cost of someone else's tomorrow, or struggle today, to sleep with a cleaner conscience. In real life, these decisions are rarely black and white. They come dressed in responsibility, love, family, survival, pressure. As you listen to this, maybe you recognize the feeling. Maybe your own job, your business, your community is asking you to adjust something small. Maybe someone is already sliding a pen towards your hand. The question is not just, what will you do? The real question is, what kind of person are you becoming with every small signature, every small compromise, every small silence? This is day 2 of Chike's story. The deal on the table. The pen is still there. The documents are still waiting. The week is moving. What will he choose on day 3 when family, love, and fate press him even harder? This is real-life stories that touch the heart. If this story has touched you, share it. Subscribe to my channel for more stories. Someone you know may be fighting a similar quiet battle today. Music slowly fades out, leaving the question hanging in the air.